Hello, everybody, and welcome to my video today. Today, I have an Ali Edwards kit. Here is the Stories by the Month kit, and I won't be using that today because I have another video where I'm going to be using that one. But today, what I'm going to be using is her story kit, and that comes with a stamp set, and then I also get the product kit, and this month it is good. That is the theme. So I'm jumping right into this video because I'm doing this a little bit different, and I did put together a page and I used the kit, and I wasn't even going to put this on YouTube. I was actually going to use this for my Life Simply Documented group, which I have a group. It is $10 a month, and we do all kinds of these kinds of projects in there. And that's what I was going to use this for. But I had so much fun putting this layout together that I thought I'm going to pop this up on YouTube and on my website because I am trying to do more scrapbooking here, memory keeping with you. So I just was flipping through the kit, and I normally don't like the 6x8 or like the 7x8.5 papers that come with it. They're sometimes not my favorite, but this kit, I love them. And I took this picture the other day and I went ahead and printed it on my selfie printer, which I just recently got. And I decided that I would go ahead and put this page together using the products in this kit. So I'm pulling out some of the items that I want to use. Most of the products I always love and end up just putting in my stash and using in other projects. I normally don't just pull one of the kits out for the theme of the month and then do a project. But this month it worked out. So I love the strips, the word strips. Those are one of my favorites. And then recently, Ali Edwards has been doing these really large wood veneer pieces. And this was kind of my idea at the beginning, as I was going to use that really large wood veneer piece and then this paper. I had to change that up in the end because it just ended up not working out for where the holes would go. But I'll share what I end up doing later when I get to that part. But I just trimmed my photo down so it is 3x4, and then I'm going to pair that with one of the 3x4 cards. And this page that I'm creating is going to go in my 6x8 album. And that album is just layouts for myself. They're just more personal layouts, and I put them in a 6x8 album. I had to get out one of my old trimmers. I think this is one of the first trimmers I ever had because my trimmer, my Stampin' Up! Trimmer, is up in the living room with my week in the life stuff. So it was a little bit weird using this trimmer because I haven't used it in so long. And as you will end up seeing, the blade is in rough condition. But I just needed it for a couple cuts, so I made it work since I didn't want to go track down my trimmer in the living room. So what I did is I trimmed off a 1/4 inch off of that pink pattern paper, and then I grabbed a piece of mint macaroon cardstock, and it just so happened that that mint macaroon cardstock matched some of the colors perfectly. So I grabbed that and then I trimmed it down to I think it was 7 inches by 8.5. And that will be the perfect size to have this page outside of the page protectors. So it'll go in a 6x8 album and it'll be the same size as the regular page protectors and it will be outside. So I'm not going to get too caught up in exactly how this is going to work or what will I put on the back or any of that. I'm just going to make the layout. So I'm going to go ahead and add that pattern paper to the mint macaroon paper. And then this was my original idea. What I realized is if I put that wood veneer piece right there on the edge, it's going to interfere with where I need to poke the holes, to put the holes in the layout because it's not actually going in a page protector. So I start trying to think of like, what could I do instead of using that wood veneer piece? What could I do? Because that was going to work as like my title, right? But I also don't want to get too caught up in the layout has to have a title It has to have multiple photos. It has to have journaling. Really, memory keeping doesn't have any rules. You don't have to do it any way except the way that you want it, right? So, but I do want to make sure that the holes will be able to go into this page so it can go in the album. So I just take my emery board and I'm going around the edges of the pattern paper and the cardstock because, like I said, my 12 by 12, the blade was in rough shape. So that was just a fix to go ahead and fix up that. So I'm still trying to figure out, like, am I going to be able to use that wood piece or not? So I'm going to trim down this extra piece from the mint macaroon. That is going to work. Originally, I was thinking that is where I would put my journaling. I end up doing something totally different for my journaling. So I was going to put my journaling right there. I end up not putting it there, but I grabbed this twine. This is Calypso Coral Baker's twine from Stampin' Up from ages ago. We don't, Stampin' Up doesn't carry that Baker's twine anymore. So I'm going to use that twine to put where I think that I'm going to put my journaling. And then I will end up changing up my journaling. I really like the way that this page came together. It was really quick. I sped this video up a little bit, and I think the original footage was like 25 minutes. So this was really a quick page to put together. I have been really enjoying my Canon printer, my Canon selfie printer. I got that a couple weeks ago, and it ended up being much better than the original Canon selfie that I had gotten. It connects better, it prints better. It is working out really amazing. And it really helps me to be able to print some photos at home. So I do both. I send photos out to get printed. I am lucky enough that my Walmart has really good quality photos. They have a really good quality photo department, and I get my photos. I upload them to snapfish.com, and that works as a way that I keep my photos backed up as well. And then I have them sent to Walmart, and I print them in a matte finish. And that's where I get the majority of my 4x6 photos printed. I usually print like once a month, and I just at the beginning of the month print all of my photos from the prior month. Um, but sometimes I need to be able to print like a 4x6 photo. Like this is one that I printed, that I just wanted to be able to do this layout right now. So it's helpful to be able to have something to be able to print at home. And I like that option. I was looking at the Epson Picture Mate, but for whatever reason, I could not find one. I don't know if they're retiring it or updating it, but I couldn't find it. So I went with the Canon selfie again, and I actually am really glad that I did. I will probably have some tutorials in the future with this. I've actually learned quite a bit with it in the last couple weeks that I've had. I think I've only had it a couple weeks, but I really dove in and have been enjoying it. So I just added the twine onto that strip and tied a bow. And then here's where I am trying to figure out what else could I do instead of using that wood veneer. So these are chipboard pieces, and they are like these starburst chipboard pieces. And I thought about layering those two chipboard pieces, but realized that the starburst sort of gets lost with that pattern paper because they're the same color. Then I thought about using the wood veneer, but just not putting it all the way to the edge, but it didn't look good. So now I'm looking through the cards and I'm trying to see if there's a card I could cut up and do like a title at the top. And I pull out this 3x4 card, and it has the little little strips that say 1, 2, 3, and 4. So I'm like, well, let me cut these out and see if they will fit in the top space. So I'm just cutting this out, and I'm just going to see, like I did a rough cut, and I thought, okay, well, I could probably fit all 4 of them up there at the top, and that would be good. And then I could put a chipboard piece on the bottom there. And I thought, okay, that could be good. but I still need a little something up top. So this is another one of the chipboard pieces. And so what I'm going to do is put this right here. I fuss with it for a little too long. Like I start to get a little bit annoyed that I'm fussing with it. And I'm like, just put it down. It doesn't have to be perfect. Our pages do not need to be perfect. Nobody other than myself is going to look at that chipboard piece and wonder if it's perfectly centered. The other thing that was throwing me off a little bit, and I'm off camera here, I'm just continuing to cut out those 4 boxes. So the other thing that was throwing me off a little bit is those photos are not centered on the page because of the way I was going to use that wood veneer piece. I purposely put the photos and that other 3x4 card over to the other side of the page. So that was throwing me off a little bit, that it wasn't completely centered. So I just am gonna, I trim those pieces out, and that is where I will hand write my journaling. And then I'm gonna find this other chipboard piece, and it's this circle, and it just brings in a little bit of that color, that green color from that top number 4 box. I wanted that color to be repeated. And so these are my favorite. I love these wood phrase stickers. One of my favorite products from Ali Edwards. So I like to stack 3 of them. And so I'm trimming off a little bit of the extra white part and stacking those. And that's what I always do. That is how you will always see my wood phrase, not wood, word phrase stickers on my photos like that. So then I'm just gluing these to I use some of my green glue, my mono liquid glue, and I'm just going to add these. I didn't add any dimension to these because I knew I would be writing on them. And so because of that, I wanted them flat on the layout so that I could write my journaling. So I'll add those, and really that's it for the layout. There's not many other things that I'm going to do. The very next thing I'm going to do is pull out my Becky Higgins date stamp, and I like Becky Higgins date stamp because it is, I'll use those in just a minute, or I guess I use them right now. Okay, so the next thing I do is I add these jewels. These are from Stampin' Up. They may be retired, but I just add a couple of them in these corners. And then I pull out my Becky Higgins date stamp. And the reason I like her date stamp is because it doesn't, the end date, like the year, is universal basically. So it will never like go out, like be outdated. The way she put together that date stamp was genius. So I'm just finding the correct dates on it. And then you're going to see I test stamp. And I always suggest test stamping first before you stamp onto your layout, particularly because I've already glued down this layout, and you will see that my date is wrong on here. It is 52 instead of 25. And so I switched that around, and then I'm going to stamp right on this. This was a little dangerous because, again, it's on foam adhesive, but my foam adhesive was in the center of that mint macaroon paper. So I just made sure to place the date right in the middle, even though I would have preferred it like on the bottom, but it worked out. So now I'm picking a pen that will work for my journaling. I'm just going through a couple of my pens and trying to figure out which one feels the best for writing. And then I'm going to add some journaling. So I just, in each one of these boxes, I just wrote what I was thankful for. So I just picked 3 things, and it was really just stream of conscious journaling. I didn't put much thought into it beforehand. When I started to do my journaling, I just did it. So I know that this has been kind of a quick video. We just jumped right in. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you would give this video a thumbs up, and I would love that. I want to do more memory keeping on this channel, and so I'm just going to dive in and I'm going to do some of it, and not get so scared about what I'm posting. So I hope that you enjoyed it as well, and I will be back at the end of the week with a look at my week in the life album. Thank you so much for checking out my video today. I hope you will like this video and subscribe to my channel. Here on the screen are 2 other videos that I have recently put together. I hope that you will check those out, and I hope you're having a wonderful day.